All right, let's bring in Isiah Victor now, who joins us. He's a little off center. We're bringing him to the left, and he's right there. I love this guy, Isiah Victor. You've seen him on the Sports Source with John Pennington, and he's just a great overall dude. Isiah, how are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. So I wanted to get your thoughts because I made this crazy statement that I think Dalton Knecht is the best scorer since a guy named Bernard King. And I threw it at you, and I thought, man, he's going to be so mad at me because I'm throwing Chris Lofton under the bus. I'm throwing all these other guys under the bus. And Isiah says, you might be right. Isiah, tell me why Dalton Knecht may be the best scorer since Bernard King.
Well, you get just going by the eye test, and then of course it's super recent, so we're watching them right now. But going by the eye test, I mean, I don't see anything that he can't do on the offensive end, and obviously he's been piling up the points the last few weeks. But I probably would pump the brakes. When you first said it, I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I was like, well, hold up. Yeah, so because I love it that he's doing it on the number 5 team in the nation. I think that's big. But when you're talking about scoring, it's just pure ability, and I think that shouldn't have anything to do with with what the team does. So if you throw that away, and purely want to talk about scoring, I still think he's headed in that direction. And by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if we could crown him that. It's just it's the middle of the year. And we have seen those lags from him for whatever reason. I know he had an ankle injury, and so the last 5 or 6 games before these 3, he was kind of quiet for his sake, and we were still winning, so it was no big deal. But I want to see the whole picture here. Just he only gets 1 year with us, unfortunately, but I do want to see him at least finish that year out and see how it winds up.
Isiah, let me ask you this real quick. What's your Twitter handle?
I'm not on Twitter, man.
Oh, that's why I couldn't find you. Okay, go ahead, Caleb. You ask the next question. You're doing a great job.
Isiah, before I go in, what do you think of I want to give Smoky Mountain Red and Travis, our message board guys, a couple of shout outs because they came up with it, but we're using it now. What do you think of Creamsicle Mamba for Dalton Knecht's nickname?
I like that. Hey, I'm telling you, I'm on the bandwagon, man. He's been amazing since the first time I saw him. Those are big words, but he has that attack mentality like the Mamba. So I'm all for it, man.
Here's my. I'm sorry, Caleb. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to do that for a joke, but what I really wanted to ask was that how much does it help Dalton that I had been very. I basically called him out in December and said Jonas Aidoo needs to get tougher and play tougher under the basket, and he's answered the call ever since then. And you know what it's like. You were a guy under the basket. Y'all had a scorer like Vincent Yarbrough, but guys like you and CJ Black and Ron Slay had to take pressure off Yarbrough if he was going to be that scorer, right? Under the basket. Has Jonas Aidoo answered the call to you?
Absolutely. He's been a wonderful. And I saw the potential last year. He didn't get to play a whole lot. I knew we missed Olivier this year. I understand he probably got a better deal at Michigan State. Michigan hats off to him. But it was pivotal that Aidoo make the strides that he has made this year, and all our bigs do. I mean, if you go back to the history of Coach Barnes, I mean, he does excellent job with big men. So yeah, he's super, and we need to just keep him out of foul trouble, and we'll be good to go.
The thing that I think is most exciting about Tennessee's basketball team that you couldn't say last year, I don't believe you could, is that there's a player who can go manufacture points. And Isiah, if Tennessee is in any sort of scoring drought, and they have been under Rick Barnes fairly frequently, I think you can say, hey, you 4 guys come stand over here with me, and Dalton Knecht make something happen. How often does that happen in basketball where you just give it to one guy and say the offense isn't working? We need you to manufacture points in an ISO.
Not often because there's not a whole lot of players that could actually do that. It's funny because I did my first Sports Source show of the year right before the Mississippi State game. Well, Knecht, he hadn't been scoring very much, but I knew in the beginning of the year he did, so I knew what he was capable of. And that day they asked me what was the biggest surprise or biggest plus, and I said it was having a guy like Knecht to where if the offense is not going well, we're not scoring, we have those droughts that everybody knows about. That we could just give it to him and then he can manufacture the points. So, and then from there, it looks like we're doing it every week. So that's an anomaly to have a guy like that. I also said that you can throw the game plan away once someone scores 30, 40 points on you. That's just, you can throw the game plan away after that. So it's a very good thing to have a player like that. I do think the better he gets with getting everybody else involved, while he's playing point guard, basically, I think that'll make us a much better team, and then we'll be more. We'll probably do it a lot more often. Put him at that spot more often, if that's the case.
Let me jump in here for a second, Caleb, if I can, with a follow. And that is, have you ever been around a player where a coach said, "Hey, go generate some points on your own. Go do this. Go get this done"? Has that happened to you before?
Well, it happens all the time, but they don't necessarily do it like that. They just call the plays out that that get you the ball in the right spots. That's what they do. And you notice with Knecht, it's the high pick and roll that we're doing a lot when he gets in the game, because you can't push him to the right, you can't push him to the left. It's kind of hard to trap it since it's in the middle of the court. And then if he gets going downhill, it goes crazy. The last player I remember to be that way, especially in college basketball, was Shbikwa Holsclaw. It was giving a ball at the end of the game, and it was some play where they just spread their arms out like that, and it just means everybody get out the way and let them go score. So
it's pretty awesome. Good reference.
By the way, Isiah, just wanted to bring up there's a bit of a connection. I'm very familiar with Hopkinsville, Kentucky, because when I was at Ridgeway in Memphis in 2004, Ridgeway played Hopkinsville in a game in football and just got draxed 27-0. But
oh wow, okay, yeah, we've been down in football for a while, so it's good to hear about the glory days there, man.
Oh well, okay. For the record, Powell High School got beat by a guy named Penny. And our Panthers had the lead at halftime, and Penny decided that he'd rather win.
Penny Hardaway?
Yes.
Oh, wow. When he was at Treadwell? Interesting. I did not know that.
Yes, he bounced the Panthers from the playoffs, and it was a sad drive home for the Powell Panthers.
Yeah, so, I'm sure it made you feel better to see him go on and be an NBA Hall of Famer. And it's like, oh, okay, well, there you go.
That's true. It was like 92, so I've moved on.
Right.
And actually, Isiah was teammates with the next great player out of Memphis that followed that with Tony Harris. Isiah, I wanted to ask you on a little. It's funny, you came in right as we were talking football a little bit about Elijah Simmons, but you guys, I'm sure, dealt with this in basketball too, particularly you as a post player under the basket. I know that part of being a great post player is you kind of got to be a little bit mean because people kind of want to punk you down low, right?
Absolutely.
And it's the same with defensive linemen in football. If someone's really nice but really skilled, how can you find that trigger to get them to be mean? Because I feel like, for instance, that's what's held Blake Griffin back his whole career, is that he can't get mean enough.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's more of a coaching question. But I tell you what point guards used to do. I had a point guard, Corey Alexander. He played at Virginia for a long time, and I played with him in the G League. What is the G League now? And he played for the Hornets for a little bit, but he would just come in and pick a fight with me every day at practice. So he said, man, and he told me at the end of the year, he said, I noticed that, sometimes you were kind of cruising, is what they call it, when you're cruising, kind of being softer, not being as physical. So with me, he knew all he had to do was challenge me or talk a little trash. And then next thing you know, I'd get mean. And so there's something that triggers everybody's mean streak, I believe. But it's just up to the coach or maybe a good point guard to find out what that is.
Well, did you? There was one guy that I thought you had that maybe wasn't as mean as he could have been or aggressive. And that was Vincent Yarbrough, who I love, and I love his game. But there were times I thought he could have been more aggressive. Am I on point there, or am I off base?
Yarbrough, he did a lot of work, man. He's one of the best scorers in history too. I believe the year after I left, he averaged over 20 points a game in the SEC. So it'd be hard for me to say that, but I can understand how it come across that way because he's such a smooth player. It looks, even when he's scoring 20, it looks like he's not even playing hard. So I think some people just have that demeanor. I know he wanted it, and I never really saw him. When I think of toughness, I think of guarding your man one-on-one, because that's like probably the hardest thing to do on a basketball court, especially post or perimeter, either way, just stand in front of your man. And I don't remember him getting beat a whole lot, so I couldn't put that on, but I do know how that could be viewed that way just because of how smooth and how effortless he made the game look.
Great stuff, Isaiah. We'll look for you on the Sports Source, which is on WAT at Knoxville on Sundays at, I believe, 11 a.m. Maybe I'll see you in the studio at some point.
Absolutely, man. Hope so. Thanks for having me too, man.
All right, buddy. Have a blessed day. We appreciate you.